bum, bum, bum. Oh, happy Tuesday, everybody. Yeah. It is a mildly jovial Bindi. I have no idea. Welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant alongside Greg Bergman, Parker Bell, and joined on a Tuesday by Jeff Spiegel. Jeff, I know you've been out in the wilderness off the grid, so it's good to see you here, man. How are things?
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I got one more Friday that I'm going to be gone, so I asked Greg if I could hop in a little early this week, so here we are on a Tuesday.
All right. Well, glad to have you for sure. The Dodgers, a frustrating 3-2 loss last night to the St. Louis Cardinals. We will dive into that and plenty more as we look forward to the remainder of this series. But first, want to give a shout out, as always, to the folks at Los Angeles International Airport. They are transforming the travel experience. They're saving guest time. The People Mover train, hopefully running by early next year. So that is exciting. So for more information, you can go to flylax.com/transforminglAX. All right, 3-2, the final score last night. The Cardinals get one in the top of the ninth against Brock Stewart. Just a few jam shots that sort of fell in. But, Jeff, I think the story of the night is that it was another game where the Dodger offense just didn't show up.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're in a funk. I had lots of people in my life texting me like, so what exactly is happening with our offense right now? And I mean, the best I can come up with is maybe they're bored. Like maybe this is just the midseason swoon and it's like, you know, late July, early August, wake me up when September rolls around kind of a thing. Greg, that's the best I can come up with for why these guys stink right now.
It's pretty incredible. There was three hits total for the entire game last night. I mean, I know Sonny Gray shoved against them last time, but it can't happen a second time. Yeah. And to the point of what he did do, it's just so frustrating. It takes away from a very good Tyler Glasnow appearance, especially innings 3 through 7 where he was just shut down. It's just frustrating, and it's over and over and over again. Nobody can get a hit, and against a bullpen that lost everybody. The Cardinals just gave people away and are just using just random dudes in their bullpen, and they're still getting shut down. It was a frustrating loss. And also the top of the ninth, how the fact that the Cardinals got just like flare and end up getting the run. And then our flare gets the most amazing catch by Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah, man. Lars Nootbaar with an amazing catch. By the way, Jeff, Wake Me Up When September Rolls Around is actually a lesser-known Green Day song.
Right.
I'm not even a big Green Day guy, but when I said that out loud, I was like, dang it, I think this is a Green Day song. And in their later years, like not their good years, their bad years. But
no, it's one of the B-sides that never really made it to radio is what that was.
My first thought.
Parker, I mean, let's talk about Mookie Betts, right? Because obviously, this has been an awful season for him at the plate, but man, it feels like that Lars Nootbaar catch sort of encapsulated everything that's happened to Mookie, that like, even when it looks like something good's going to happen, it ends up bad. I mean, look, credit Nootbaar for making an amazing catch, but that just felt like Mookie's offensive season in one play.
It's been so rough. I mean, you feel terrible, you feel bad, you hope that we can just see a stretch of, a week at least of some good Mookie, and we just haven't seen it yet. And yeah, that perfectly encapsulates Marcus. That catch, I mean, he ran 116 feet or something. It was ridiculous. And the fact that Mookie just can't even catch a break while Yohal, I don't know. I'm sorry, Yohal Perez.
Yoho, Pirates life for me.
Yoho Pozo. With the flare like that, it's unfortunate, but I think that honestly, Marcus, like, I still believe in Mookie. I don't care. I know that it's a funk, but it's a funk around the whole team. So I still believe.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really encouraging last night. He comes to the plate for the first time, and he gets the standing ovation from the crowd. I mean, everybody, I think, is still behind Mookie. Everybody still believes. They're still, waiting for that big moment. I mean, there was a part of me last night, right? Shohei leads off the ninth inning with the base hit, and there's a part of me thinking, all right, well, here comes the Mookie walk-off, right? Like, he's so overdue for that big hit that maybe it comes here against the Cardinals bullpen. Unfortunately, it did not, and the Dodgers kind of go down. Although I'll say this, Max Muncy hit the ball hard. He hit the ball on the nose. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it was just right at Lars Nootbaar, and that was it for the ball game. So, Greg, you talked about Glasnow last night, and in the first inning, maybe in the first 2 innings, it felt like it was going to be sort of a replay of that last start where he was really battling his command. I don't know what happened, but you mentioned it. From that third inning on, he just flipped the switch and looked lights out again.
Yeah, it did start to feel like the last outing where he just couldn't find the plate. He was 3-2 counts, walking guys. I know he ended up with only 2 walks, but still, like it just felt like he kind of was effectively wild in that game, because those first 2 innings, but then just looked like Tyler Glasnow again after that. 3 through 7 was just amazing. So hopefully that's more of what we see, and just have to figure out I was interesting. Oral Hershiser on the broadcast was talking very much about, I mean, I don't fully understand it, but he's like, you have to be on, like, he's on his butt, like he's like over his butt, and he's like,
versus the belly button,
and he's over the belly button. I was like, I don't fully understand what you're talking about, but you're Oral Hershiser and really smart, so I'm just gonna say, like, cool, that's what he has to do. Go talk to him. And maybe he did.
You know what? At least you were willing to admit, like, that you didn't really understand, because, like, he said the whole thing, and then they showed a replay of it, and I just stood at the TV, like, nodding silently as though I was like, "Yes, Oral, that's exactly what's happening." I have no idea.
Yes,
I don't know.
He's absolutely over his tailbone. I can see it.
Like, it's obviously whipped. I mean, how can you not see this? It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but Jeff, at this point, how are we feeling about the rotation, right? I mean, we know what Yamamoto is. Glasnow has looked great. I know Snell took the loss, gave up a couple of maybe cheapy home runs in his first return back. But at this point, how are we feeling about the rotation?
Look, I get accused, rightfully so, of being overly optimistic. The rotation right now is everything that we dreamed it was going to be at the beginning of the season. Now, you don't necessarily want that on August 5th as much as you want that like on October 5th. But to your point, I mean, Tyler Glasnow, who, let's be honest, as people that are in the media space and interacting with a lot of fans, this is not a guy who was a super popular Dodger 2-3 months ago based on the injuries that he had and kind of ways that he had left games. He's been awesome since coming back. You mentioned Blake Snell. Anybody who watched that game and didn't just look at the box score would know that Blake Snell was awesome in that game. He gave up 2 home runs that shouldn't have been home runs in any other baseball stadium. And so the fact that Yamamoto at this point in the season is still awesome. The fact that Otani is getting built up. Snell looked great in his first time back. Glasnow looks to have settled in. Again, you don't want to get over your skis a little bit and say, okay, we're good, we're back because the rotation is here. But if this rotation can somehow transport itself 2 months into the future and be who we enter the postseason with, I would feel awesome almost regardless of what the offense looks like or doesn't look like by the time we get there.
I am going to ask you again, because I know we like to talk about this every so often, but now that the rotation is, rounding into shape, they're trying to stretch Shohei out. Is there still space for Clayton Kershaw on a postseason roster? You knew it was coming, right?
Yeah, I did. I could just see it in Greg's face that he was about to ask this question, and Greg is just so eager. Look, I'm not delusional to the point where I think Kershaw is better than any of the 4 guys ahead of him in the rotation. Kershaw has been awesome, but he just doesn't have the strikeout stuff that you need. The thing that I speculated, and Greg, as you know, I'm not going to call you a Kershaw hater, but maybe
absolutely
a Kershaw
not.
skeptic,
absolutely not.
Or I'll let you decide what language is appropriate for yourself. But like, is there a world where Clayton Kershaw is the greatest version of 2024 Brent Honeywell the world has ever seen in the postseason, where he just becomes like this stretched out long man that is either there to mop up duty in games where they need somebody to eat innings, or if they're up by 1 million runs to save the bullpen? Like, there's always a spot for that. They're going to have an extra spot in the bullpen because of the Otani rule. So basically they're going to carry 4 pitchers at the cost of 3 in the rotation, assuming health. And so I do think there's no way Kershaw, if he's healthy and pitching this well, isn't on the postseason roster. And I also agree with everyone that doesn't want him coming in for like a 3-out stint in the 8th inning of a 1-run game. So I just think this in-between role, Greg, is where I would pencil him in if the playoffs started tomorrow.
I mean, maybe I can see that a little bit, but at the same time, like, is that what Kershaw now is? We're penciling him in as a 14th pitcher on a playoff roster that's going to come in situations when you're up by 8 or down by 8. That's what Clayton Kershaw has become.
If we're healthy, I mean, the 4 guys ahead of him,
you do understand what you're trying to say towards Kershaw. I mean, who doesn't get that spot? Probably like a Justin Robleski, but that also means that like Emmett Sheehan doesn't get that role, or
those
somebody
guys are relievers.
Yeah, they will be, but that's what you're saying that Kershaw is going to be. So I don't know. I just can't imagine a world where Clayton Kershaw is the 14th pitcher on a roster. I don't know.
So do you think he doesn't make the postseason roster at all then if things continue in the trajectory
if he
they're
keeps
on?
playing well, I think they'll find a role for him. But like, what is that role? And if it is like just I don't know. I would think that they might go with somebody else. I just it's if they leave him on there, it feels like just for it's like going into the All-Star game as a Legends pick. You're putting him on as a Legends pick into a postseason roster. That's what it feels like. Not saying it's wrong or right. It just that's what that feels like to me.
There's something a little bit sad about the idea of Clayton Kershaw
Right.
in mop-up duty
Yeah.
in a playoff game. I mean, I do think Dave Roberts is going to do his best to try to find an actual role for him. Because here's the thing, I don't even think Kershaw wants to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't seem like that's the way he would want to end his career potentially, as like, hey man, we just need you to get us through these next couple innings to save the rest of the bullpen so that we're ready for game 3 or whatever it is.
Marcus, let me ask you this question. Like, is there one of those other 4 guys? I think Otani would be the obvious one, but would you move one of those other 4 guys into a different type of role? Because I think we all agree, and even me, the biggest Kershaw guy out here, like he's not going to be effective with the stuff that he has in a high leverage relief role. And so the question is, like, would you rather have Kershaw as your 4th starter and somebody like Shohei Otani available to come into high leverage spots in the back of games? Obviously, that gets complicated with him being in the lineup and trying to warm up. But I mean, like, those are the type of trade-offs that I think the Dodgers are going to ask. So I'm curious what you would say, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they really are intent on having Kershaw in some sort of starting role, then I think that's the obvious answer, right? I mean, remember, that idea was floated last year. It was basically, I think, floated by fans and media, not necessarily the Dodgers, but the idea of having Otani return as the closer in the postseason, right? Like, even like, would they have him close out a World Series game if necessary? I mean, I'm sort of glad that Dave Roberts shot that down very quickly, but I think it's something that's potentially on the table again, especially now that he's actually gotten some work in here. The idea, especially when you look at the Bolt, right? Blake Trinan so far has not been great in his return. Tanner Scott, they expect him to be back, but he has been a roller coaster so far this year. Kirby Yates right now on the IL. As much as people, I think, have liked the idea of Vesia closing, I think I'd rather have Vesia in some of those high leverage 7th and 8th inning situations than coming out of the bullpen in the 9th. So again, if we're tying ourselves in some sort of weird knot here, maybe Shohei coming out and throwing fireballs in the 9th inning is the way to go. I mean, Parker, we all watched the World Baseball Classic. I mean, we saw him strike out Mike Trout in the 9th inning. Again, I know the logistics of it seem kind of weird, but maybe it's not the craziest idea.
Well, it certainly isn't, but it's also just a one-off. It's a very rarity. If they were in a unique position where you look on the other end and it's, if you say the Yankees make it back again and it's Aaron Judge, the last out, then yes, I could see Otani running out to the bullpen and warming up. But
how wild would that be, by the
way? Hey, baseball needs
the Yankees ain't getting anywhere right now.
But you look at, if it is in that position, then sure, Otani could do it. But I think you look at all this conversation we've had the last minute, it's more likely than not that, Jeff's right. Like, Kershaw could play a role, but we're just not going to know till the playoffs. If he continues to play well, then it'll be there, but maybe it's because somebody got hurt, knock on wood. It's tough. It's tough to really pick it down, Greg.
I do think that it's actually kind of interesting. The idea of, because Otani is not actually ramped up yet, and he's trying to get ramped up, but he's not going to be fully ramped up at all this whole year. They're saying that 5-6 innings is max for him. So if that's the case, and you want to go with Kershaw in a 4 spot, if he is just absolutely stays healthy that whole way through, having Otani out of the pen may not be the worst thing in the world. And I know you're probably shocked that I'm semi-agreeing with you, Jeff. But either way, because he's not going to be fully ramped up till next year. So that's a whole thing. That's the truth. He's not going to be ready to be full pitcher Shohei until next year. So maybe having him be in a closer role and also it takes it, if you're in the postseason, his numbers the day after starting a game are absolutely terrible. Like, I don't think he has a hit in a game in a day after he pitches. So if that doesn't change soon, that there is a world. I'm not fully on board with you yet, Jeff, but there's a world where that does exist.
Parker, can we get socials? Greg Bergman wants Kershaw in playoff rotation. Alternative, Kershaw over Otani for rotation spot. Can we just get those out, blast it out on the ESPN LA?
That's the one, man. If you're you're an SEO master, like Kershaw over Otani in playoffs, that's the one.
Watch my mentions go up in flames.
That just drives clicks just to no end for sure. Offensively, I mean, we talked about it last night, right? The team with 3 hits, they only scored 2 runs. Greg, how worried are we about the level of swing and miss? I mean, I know that even when this team is going right, there's just a lot of swing and miss. There's a high strikeout team anyway, but it feels worrisome because there just seems to be less overall consistent contact here.
Yeah, I do hope that. It always feels like they're just one game away from fully breaking out. Like if they just have this one game where they just go nuts, that it's going to be, oh, okay, they're back to normal. They're going to start getting 9 to 12 hits every single game, putting up 5-6 runs every single game, and it's all going to just turn around. It's just not happening. It felt like it's supposed to get there at some point soon. And really, it starts at the top. Shohei is striking out so much. Now, I'm not worried about him, but at the same time, he swings at pitches that he should not be swinging at all. And nobody's giving him anything inside the zone. It's all outside, and because he's going to swing at it. He swings at the high strike. He swings at the low strike. He's just kind of all over the place right now. And I don't put it towards his pitching, but something's got to change there where he's got to get a little bit more patient. I do hope that now with Max Muncy back in the lineup that he sees pitches. I think that will help stabilize stabilize the whole lineup. But I do need to see the swing and miss is a lot right now, and really bad pitches too, Jeff.
Yeah. The thing about Otani is we've seen this before this season. Like he just goes on these stretches where for 2 weeks he looks almost completely incompetent, and like he's James Outman basically up there with the swing and miss. And then it's like, oh yeah, something clicks, and all of a sudden it's 5 home runs in 5 days for Otani. So
right.
He's not the guy I'm worried about. Freddie Freeman has proven that anybody who was worried about him was being foolish. Max Muncy is back, as you've said. Will Smith. Did you hear the stat last night, by the way, that Will Smith is hitting over 300 on every single type of pitch that he has faced this year? That's like the most insane statistic I've ever heard. Teoscar gets the double last night. Like, Conforto has been bad the last couple days, but over the last month, it's been pretty good numbers from Conforto. Pages is in a rut. So it just feels like, other than Mookie Betts, they just haven't been able to put it together all at one time, but guys have kind of shown flashes and given you small reasons for optimism. So I am choosing, Parker, to believe that this is August 5th. We're post All-Star break, post trade deadline. We're not yet quite into the stretch run, and guys are sort of starting to wake up from their naps and gear up for when they know they need to put the pedal to the metal. That's what I keep telling myself, that these guys are going to figure it out, but maybe I'm just delusionally optimistic.
Well, what's so weird about this season is that you look at the overall numbers, you just look at everything. I'm going to pull a Jeff here. When you look at the statistics, guys, MLB leaders, I mean, you go team by team, Dodgers are still top 5 in basically every hitting category. They're 7th in average, sure, but outside of that, 4th in OBP, 2nd in home runs, 6th in hits, and 3rd in RBIs. The team is having a great season. They're first place. The Padres, stinky Padres, almost cussed, lost yesterday. So, you're still maintaining that 3-game lead, and it's just been a rough July, like a terrible, terrible July, and you hope that they can find themselves out of that rut. Glasnow said it. They're in a rut last night, but it's not as bad as we really make it out to seem. I know that we nitpick, but the chat, I just see some people absolutely panicking, and the team, I agree with Jeff. They're going to be fine. They're going to find their way out of this. It's just been a little rough to watch certain games, Marcus.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of monitoring the chat, and if you were only to read Mr. Classic's post,
Mr. Classic,
you would think the Dodgers were like 30 games under 500, just walking the plank at this point. I don't think it's that bad. Obviously, it's not great at the moment. I had this thought last night too, because it feels like Parker, you talk about all those numbers and where they rank offensively in different categories. maybe it's because we watch this team every day and we obsess over every at bat and every inning. It feels like, they'll go through stretches where as a team, they'll hit like 750 and then they'll go a month where they hit 100. And so then it all evens out. And you're like, oh yeah, they're hitting like 300. They're, it's fine. Where I think we would prefer that, they hit like, 350 every month or something like that, and just sort of make it just be a little bit steady with that there. Anyway, tonight, game 2 of the series. Shohei Otani is on the mound, or actually, no, Emmett Sheehan tonight. I'm sorry. I'm one day early. Sorry. Emmett Sheehan tonight against Miles Mikolas. Jeff, yesterday I put the over-under on Dodgers strikeouts at 9 against Sonny Gray because that was just the way he was going. If I put it at 8 against Mikolas, would you go over or under that?
I would take the under. Now, here's both the good news and the bad news. Miles Mikolas strikes very few people out in general, and he's not very good, which basically means he's going to kill tonight because it feels like if you throw 93 miles an hour and don't strike anybody out, like, buddy, get ready for a career night against the Dodgers right now. I don't know. Like, he's got a 5 ERA, a 1.3 whip. He strikes out like 6 guys per 9. And yet it feels like whenever he pitches against the Dodgers, he crushes. So I would probably pencil him in for like 5 strikeouts, maybe 6 on the high side. But man, this feels like a get right day for the Dodgers offense against this guy at home. Second game back. Please, Dodgers offense, if you're going to break out, Miles Mikolas is the guy to do it against.
So in his last 2 starts, Miles Mikolas, it was against Miami. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, and that's it. And the time before that, it was against San Diego and went 5 innings, 7 hits, no earned runs. So, I mean, his last 2 outings have been
so then maybe
good.
He's due to blow up then. Maybe that's the point.
We just need look, with the way that this offense is going right now, I just don't expect them to. Everything you're saying is right. He has not been the best. He doesn't strike a lot of guys out. That's just not who he is. However, hasn't faced this Dodgers offense, the Dodgers offense that can't get hits, that strikes out and swings and misses at everything off around the plate. I would love for them to just break out today. It would really go well. It worries me every single time that they go out right now. They're a frustrating watch right now. I think I said it to you guys last night. Like, I understand they're going to be fine. They're going, and I still believe they're going to win the World Series. But right now, with the way this offense is going, they're a frustrating watch. Every at bat is a frustrating at bat. And, it needs to be a breakout. Hopefully it is tonight, and really just get the series win and just keep winning series because that will keep you ahead.
Real quick, he faced the Dodgers twice last year, and the good news, 10 innings pitched total, 10 earned runs allowed by Mikolas, 14 hits in those 2 games, did strike out 12. So he did get 12 strikeouts in 10 innings, which is far better than his career. But hey, if they tag him for 4 or 5 runs and 7 hits, he could strike out everybody else that he faces, and I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, that's fine. If they're going to put up runs, I will live with the strikeouts. It's the striking out and not scoring runs part that is really frustrating. So, hey man, Jeff, it's good to see you here, even on a Tuesday. What you guys got going on in the near future?
We'll be live post game tonight. Myself and Anthony Witrata. We also have a fun interview that's coming up later this week with Kyle Glazer, who does some Padres coverage and also some prospect stuff. So that'll be on our channel later this week as well. Dodgers Blue 1958 on YouTube.
Go check it out for sure. In the meantime, stick around on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. First Pitch coming up with Travis and DeMarco and Bergman. For Jeff Spiegel, for Parker Bell, for Greg Bergman, I'm Marcus Grant. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to LAX. Back with you tomorrow here on the Blue Review, 8:30 to 8:55. We'll see you then.
At least we're not the Twins.